What's up guys, welcome back to Ronin, and today we're going to do a 1 year owner's review on the BMW 120. So as I said earlier, I've had this for a year now. It's the 120 4-cylinder 2-litre diesel, turbocharged, producing about 188 horsepower. I'm not sure what the torque is. I'll get that on the screen. I'll give a full stat list on the screen. This video is going to be a full overview, what it's been like to own for a year. Hello Bob. We're going to be discussing fuel economy, that sort of thing, running costs, ownership costs, repairs, maintenance, all of that stuff, and what it's like to live with a BMW 1 Series for a year. Okay, so to get started, we'll show you the key. This is a pretty standard BMW key. If you press this button here, you get your spare. It just clips back in. This is pushed into the dashboard. The start button's pressed to start the vehicle. When I press the unlock button, as you can see, we've got the welcome lights here. Fairly standard on these BMWs. Throughout the video, you may see a few things that your 120D may not have. That's because I've coded it in, or because it's an optional extra. So these fog lights and front headlights coming on with the key as welcome lights are coded in with Carly. Also a nice feature on these BMWs, the welcome lights. You may struggle to see it, but we've got the underlighting on the door handles here, for lighting up the puddles. Easier to see at night, but not a bad, nice little feature. Apologies if there's any wind noise. It is quite windy here. Just come around to the back, we've got a single exhaust pipe, standard 120D badging, and this is the M Sport, hence the slightly lower suspension. But yeah, so let's go into it. So the 120D has slightly wider rear tyres, same as the 130i. To handle the extra torque, 245 section. These on the back are 35 profile on 18-inch alloys. I believe they're available on 17-inch alloys as well. Not cheap to replace these tyres. Currently running Michelin Pilot Super Sports on the back two tyres and Yokohama's on the front. Back two tyres cost me about £300 for the two, 150 each. And the front tyres, I paid £175 for the pair, because they were on a special deal. As you can see, we've got privacy glass here, another nice feature. I think it was standard on the M Sport. M Sport mirrors. You may have noticed the M Sport rear diffuser type thing there. And obviously we've got the M Sport front bumper. I will stick a picture even in the video to show what a standard bumper looks like. So yeah, that's the exterior. Let's take a look at the interior. Hey guys, so here we are. This is the interior. Excuse the mess. I just thought I'd make this video sooner rather than later. In terms of ergonomics, it's a very comfy place to be. We've got everything you need right here. You've got the business BMW professional stereo system, which has been fairly good. This is just a CD slot phone holder, because I don't think anyone else listens to CDs anymore. I mainly run through the aux cable, but I'll show you that in a minute. As you can see, we've got multi-function steering wheel, standard BMW stuff, modes, track select here, volume, voice control and phone button. We've got a nice thick M Sport steering wheel with the perforated leather sides, and obviously the start stop button here. Here we just have the computer control stalk, standard BMW really. If you're familiar with BMWs of this era, it's all the same. This side we have our wiper stalk just here. Unfortunately the steering wheel's in the way of it. There we are, that's a better view. Again, that's standard wipers. These aren't automatic on this. I believe that was an option. This is just the standard wipers with intermittent. On the door here we've got nicely leather insert here, got electric mirrors, windows, window lock, all that sort of stuff. We've obviously got the door handle here, which is nice aluminium and finished in aluminium here. Headlight control is just here. I leave mine on all the time because when you turn the engine off, they do turn off, so it's not like it's going to use all your battery up. Front and rear fogs as well. Nice aircon vent here, which is always nice. The aircon system in this car is very good. As you can see, we've got 3 directions here. We've got the max chill button, the aircon button, and the 2 heated screens. This rear screen is heated convectionally, whereas this one is heated by air. The rest button, for those of you that don't know, I think I'm going to do a separate video on this explaining it more fully. But essentially, when you pull up, you press that button here, the light will come on, and as you're able to hear, the fans have come on, and this is pumping in residual heat from the engine into the car to keep it warm whilst you're stopped with the engine off. This has also got Bluetooth, which the microphone is here, as you can see, which again has been a fairly good system. I haven't got any complaints about it. These buttons here, DTC is a traction control. Press it once for hooning, press it again for sheer madness. Hazard lights and your central locking there, as well as 2 nice big vents and another vent this side. This aluminium trim's quite nice, feels reasonable quality. My biggest bugbear with the interior of this car is that everything seems to crunch when you apply any pressure, as you can hear there. I think this was just something from the cars of this age, but yeah, as you can see, if I just push my legs here, everything just sort of crunches. So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll insert the key, show you around the dash. Key just inserts in this slot here. There we are, just like that. It's clutch in. I won't do it now, but we'll just clutch in and press the button to start the engine. If you don't turn the clutch, just press that. And as you can see, we're due a service, and we have an ABS light, which is something I'll get onto in a later video. Later in the video even. So we'll turn this on for now. Actually, as you can see, it's done 92,000 miles. We're currently averaging, got 100 miles range. Average speed, currently averaging 44.8 miles per gallon. This is our current miles per gallon, and this is our speed, digital speedometer. Yeah, it's all fairly standard BMW really. As you can see here, we've got the computer where we can change the brightness of the clocks. Hang on, I might just... Where we can change the brightness of the clocks. Do a vehicle check, so this is check saying it's the ABS. An oil check, saying that the oil is okay. Tire pressure monitoring system reset. Clock set, date set, and then I think we're the service info as well. Key preferences, and we're back to the start. So that's all fairly standard BMW. If you want, I can do a full in-depth video on how to work all that. But in terms of the interior quality, it's all fairly decent. We've got nice leather seats with the extra supports here. We've got lumbar support as well. The electrically operated air pumps will tighten these up if you fancy it. I'm quite a wide person, so that's not really something I'm that interested in, because they fit me just as right as they are. We've got a manual 6-speed manual box here. Yeah, in terms of storage space in the glove box, there's a decent amount. I've got a first aid kit, a torch, a couple of my girlfriend's bits there. We've got a decent sized door pocket here. Another one here, and central cubby here. You may notice the absence of cup holders, which is a big issue for me. There isn't any, basically. I believe they're an optional extra, which is about 70 quid. Down here we have our aux cable, which is vital for your music, obviously. So that's just your standard aux. Decent centre cubby here, and our M Sport wrapped handbrake with a perforated lever. The point in that I'm not quite sure of, but again, fairly standard M Sport BMW. In terms of rear passenger space, again, not too bad. Not the best if you're carrying adults for long periods of time. I've only ever carried 3 people in the back a couple of times and swore I'd never do it again because it was such a nightmare. They just spent the whole time complaining. But yeah, that's just a quick rundown of the interior of the car. We've also got an auto dimming mirror, which is quite handy. A nice ambient lighting here, which is quite nice when you're driving at nights, and obviously the standard lights, all that sort of thing, 2 map lights as well. So yeah, I'll give you a quick walk round of the engine as well, if you bear with me. We just pulled this pull here, the engine pull, and that will open it up for us. Moving around to the front then, well easy to do. Just one hand under here, feel the latch, pull it open under the BMW badge, and here we are, nicely gas strutted bonnet, which means we don't have to hold it. Just a quick walk through here then. We've got our air filter box, washer fluid in filler, obviously the engine cover. If you come around here, we've got our dipstick and our oil filter, which is just behind the dipstick in here. We have our coolant here, and it's pretty much it. We've got obviously a big intercooler down here which feeds into the engine. If you're looking at buying one of these, it's definitely worth making sure that the engine has been serviced correctly. They advise every 20,000 miles for an oil change. I personally don't think that's enough. As you may have seen, if you've done any sort of research on these cars, they are known for a timing chain failure, which essentially wrecks the entire engine, and that has been attributed to the 20,000 mile oil changes. So I tend to do mine at least every 10,000 miles, just to prevent that timing chain stretch and eventual break. But yeah, apart from that, these engines are fairly bulletproof. I currently have a glow plug module that needs replacing, so I will be doing a video on that later, at a later date. Just means that it struggles to start when it's cold and has a bit of a lumpy idle. But apart from that, these engines are fairly good. It's just standard BMW stuff really. This is the same engine that's used in the 320d of this era, and also I believe the 325d, which is a slightly uprated version. It's the same engine as the 123d, except the 123d has 2 turbos instead of 1. But this has plenty of power. Initially, when I first bought this car, I was quite surprised with the turbo lag. I mean, the only thing I could sort of liken it to is if driving a classic 911 with that turbo lag, it suddenly kicks in and will surprise you if you've got your traction control off. But apart from that, it's all fairly standard BMW. In terms of running costs, as you've seen, I get about 45 mpg. Day to day, I've been having a bit of fun recently, so that's dropped to that 45. Normally it's about 47. I've done 60-70 on a good run as well. This car is a great motorway cruiser. The 60 to 100 pull in 6th gear is nice and effortless, and it feels nicely balanced throughout. First gear is a bit short, but they all are nowadays. In terms of what I've had done, I haven't really had to have that much done. I've had a new set of front shocks, which was between 340 and 380 pounds, depending on where you go. I'm thinking that the rear shocks are going to need doing, but at 90,000 miles it's a fairly good innings for them. It's had one service I had done by ATS Euromaster, because well, that was one service that was £150 with Mobil 1 Super Oil, the premium stuff, and then I've also serviced it myself, which the oil was £55, and then it was just my time really. Super easy to do as well. It was just a quick oil filter and oil change. But yeah guys, to be honest, apart from that, it's been a fairly decent car. We have got an issue at the moment, as you've seen, with the ABS. This is a common issue on these. It's to do with what's called the reluctor rings. Common symptoms may be that your car starts to judder with the traction control when cornering, Predominantly it happens on the passenger side of the vehicle, so when you make right hand turns at high speed it will start to cut in the traction control and feel a bit jerky. It's got so bad on this car that now I have to drive with traction control off a lot of the time, just because it hampers everyday driving. It's a really simple problem to fix, I just haven't got round to it. It's not like that you need a brand new ABS ECU or anything like that. All it is the wheel speed sensor. And what happens is on the end of the drive shaft, there are two things called reluctor rings on each side that wrap around the end of the drive shaft. The ABS sensor then reads the speed that these reluctor rings are turning. The issue arises when the drive shafts start to rust, causing the corrosion to then swell the reluctor ring. What happens is then the reluctor ring then rubs on the ABS sensor and throws up the ABS faults. It also affects your speedo as well, which is something to watch out for. It can make it quite unpredictable, but apart from that, guys, it's a fairly standard BMW, fairly reliable. I have invested in a Carly for BMW OBD reader and scanner, which is, to be honest, something I would highly recommend because it really does help you out, saves you money going to the dealer. Oh, that's another thing, it has had a recall for a battery lead, but that was, again, just a formality really. You get that on every car. In terms of boot space, I realise I haven't gone through that. Apologies again if there's any weird noise. Decent sized boot, as you can see. I've got 3 nice big bags in here. There's still plenty of room to go. This isn't fitted with a spare, so we have a floor that can open, and as you can see there's a battery, and I do have some tyre weld in the kit in the car as well. We've also got our first aid kit and warning triangle even in here. But yeah, so that's it. Let me know, guys, what else you want to see really. I'm going to keep this car for a bit longer, so I'm happy to post much more content on it if you request it. But yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.